Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Max Rappaport, and this is a little later than I wanted it to come out, but I was graduating last week, so had to delay my talking about my Pro Tour Secrets of Strixhaven list just a little bit, but I'm home now, graduated, figuring out what I'm going to do after college. So a lot of exciting stuff going on, but still want to give a look at what I played and why I played it at Pro Tour Secrets of Strixhaven. Now, the Pro Tour metagame did end up being 50% Izzet decks and then 50% other stuff. There was a lot of landfall, but that's not necessarily what it felt like playing against it. I did play against a fair bit of Izzet, and I think I went 3-1 against Izzet decks, but there's also a lot of landfall, which I ended up playing against 4 times, and I went 1-3 against, which isn't great. Very close games, of course, but this definitely isn't the best list if you're looking to target landfall or always beat landfall or have just the best possible landfall matchup. And a big reason for that is the first card that's on this list, the Colorstorm Stallion, which is a big reason why I ended up with the exact 75 I did. Is I think this card is really, really strong in the Izzet mirrors, especially against Lessons and Spelementals. If you can get one of these down with just a little bit, like one instant or a little bit of protection, or even just with nothing, sometimes you run it out, it just runs away with the game, tramples over your opponent so fast. But yeah, that's kind of what inspired this, is I thought there would be a lot of Izzet. I wish I honestly played against more of it, because I think that was what I prepared for the most, what my list was tuned for the most. Little bit more about this list. I was liking Vibrant Outburst a lot as kind of a replacement for Eddymurk Crab, where I don't like how the horse and the crab play together, because the horse kind of wants you to hold a lot of your cantrips in hand for like big burst turns after it comes down, whereas the crab really wants you to dump everything into the graveyard as soon as possible to get it online very quickly. And Vibrant Outburst can kind of fill that role in the mirror of taking out 2 creatures in combat, and then of course it's still a lightning strike, and even very good lightning strike that can tap something down, just provide a lot of burst damage. And then the Elusive Otters are also in here. I got some green sources to play around with those, but I was finding in my testing against like mono green landfall that Elusive Otter was better earlier and better at pushing damage a little later against landfall than Slickshot Show-Off was. Whereas I don't love Slickshot Show-Off in the main deck, just because I think it's really, really weak to all the decks playing 4 shocks. And I didn't love committing a lot of main deck slots to Spell Pierce, Octopus Form, and stuff like that, because I think they can be really weak into landfall, secret identity as well. So I kind of just wanted to go all out aggro, try and get as many small prowess creatures into play against landfall, and then in the sideboard I had a couple slick shots to get rid of the Colorstorm Stallions, which are just a little too slow, a little too small, make you spend your turn 3 without interacting against landfall, which is kind of a big no-no in that matchup. So Colorstorm Stallions come out. If you're expecting to play against a lot of landfall, 4 Colorstorm Stallion in the main is probably not the way to go, but if it's all going to be Prowess mirrors, as well as Lessons and Spelementals, then load up on the horses, Horsemaxx all the way to the bank, and just run away with those games. And yeah, I also have 2 Impractical Jokes. I was expecting more horses, thought it was pretty solid in the Prowess mirror, and not terrible anywhere else. Just a couple more cheap removal spells, as well as a couple more sorceries for flow state. But that and the stock up and Vibrant Outburst are definitely things you can all trim on. I do have still a couple Crabman. I thought it was pretty important to have just a certain number of threats. And with Elusive Otter kind of being a threat that's a little easier to kill, I liked having a couple harder to kill threats in the Crab. But going forward, I think I would try and, I don't know, not go between these 2 directions of the slower Crab builds and the all-in aggro with Elusive Otter. I think you just want to maximize one of those. But yeah, I'm excited to get into some games, play a little bit more with this deck that I definitely prepped a lot for. Show you guys a little bit more about the sideboarding, where I want certain cards, where I don't want certain cards. So with that said, let's just get right into it. Getting into the first match with this. Not super high up the ranked ladder as of now, but that's alright. Just kind of want to showcase what this deck is doing, and despite all the talk about the horses and how kind of I didn't mention the Boomerang Stormchaser's talent stuff, that's still the best thing that you can possibly do with this deck, and kind of the reason that this deck is so powerful is this engine of Boomerang and Stormchaser's talent. You have this on turn 1 and turn 2, especially against something like a tap land. It's just so hard to lose the game, really. And honestly, one of my favorite curves with the deck, outside of just boomeranging this Stormchaser's talent over and over, is getting the turn 3 horse down along with the boomerangs and talents to kind of diversify your threats. If they have kind of a mini Wrath, that's going to be really good against this stuff, but not great against the Stallion. And I think I'm still just going to run out the Stallion here, kind of diversify my threats, still get to hit for 5, so it's almost like I still got those prowess triggers, and might just be a quick turn 4 win, depending on what my opponent does here. Biblioplex still gets to tap for mana, I believe. Tablet of Discovery comes down, but yeah, I think this is just gonna be it. We get to start with Boomerang on talent, trigger 3 things, then, well, I find a land, but what I can just do is go for Boomerang on the tablet, make sure they can't shock anything this turn, and then Burst Lightning their face, but game is going to end pretty quick. I am happy to play against a control deck because I get to showcase kind of what I like to do in these matchups. Surprisingly, unlike against just a bunch of shocks decks, I do like Slickshot against decks that are trying to pack you in with Wraths, especially with Stallion and Slickshot together. You can plot the Slickshot on turn 2, and then play the Stallion on turn 3. You're still using all your mana, not missing out on any prowess triggers. And they go to tap out to deal with the Stallions, then you get a free Slickshot turn, which is super nice. Against, like, decks with a ton of expensive spot removal, I don't love the crabs, especially when there's nothing to tap down, and sometimes people just board in graveyard hate against you. Like the Rawls here, Spell Pierce, as well as Disdainful Stroke are probably going to be pretty good. We can trim the Impractical Jokes, as well as a couple Vibrant Outburst and a Burst Lightning. And yeah, don't need a ton of removal. Just kind of want to max out. Could even go down. I guess maybe we want the Annul here over another Burst Lightning, just because they are going to have that tablet, which is very important to counter, and if you counter a 3-mana spell with a 1-mana spell, you're in a pretty good spot. So it's generally what I like to do against the control decks, is board out some of the removal, board out the crabs for slick shots and rolls, slightly better threats while keeping your aggressive 1-drops, and then exchange your red removal for better removal. Now this is kind of an awkward hand, but we're on the draw with a cantrip, and we have a lot of cards that seem like they'd be very good in this matchup, so I am going to end up keeping it, and it looks like our opponent went down to 5 already, so not the best place to be for them, but pretty happy with what I have. We'll start with Opt, and then see where we go from there. I'll take a 3rd land, I think. And gonna hold up Spell Pierce for a tablet here. Tablet, get this beautiful trade, and get to slam a stock up, go up to 7 cards. We're looking for, there it is, Stormchaser's talent. We'd like lands. Don't necessarily need Slickshot here, although it would be nice to have. I have learned that you don't want to be taking lands too often. You're just likely to draw into them with the amount of just random cantrips you have, or sometimes Flow State doesn't have a lot of hits, ops, and stuff like that. So I think I am going to take 2 spells, and it's definitely the Stormchaser's talent to make use of these Boomerang Basics, and I can take Slickshot or Flow State. I think I'd like to take the Slickshot. Just, I have this board that's going to be so powerful that they're probably going to have to Wrath it at some point, so I can go ahead and start spamming 1/1s and maybe plot a Slickshot as well. I am going to try and draw into a land anyway, but might not happen. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. And just run out 2 of these. Opponent also struggling on lands currently. We have a Disdainful Stroke for the, what's the 7-drop? Jeskai Revelation that will eventually come down. But again, here's like, they wrath the board, but it's like, oh, I guess they're not wrathing the board. Not sure what that means they have in hand. At least 1 removal spell, maybe a couple more. They go for a land, and so they could Jeskai Revelation next turn, which makes me kind of not want to play this Ral, just because it gets bounced. Maybe go for Boomerang, Talent, Plot, Slickshot instead, which would entice them to hold up the Jeskai Revelation and not slam it, and then we can go for a Disdainful Stroke. So I think I'm going to do that rather than slam the Rawl here, and try and dig into some lands this way as well. Still get in for 3, and pretty likely to find a land for next turn with the Flow State and the Sleight of Hands. Feeling like I'm in a pretty good spot here. Though Jeskai Revelation is a scary card. Let's see if they just slam it here or not. Looks like they're going for it, which kills my things, gains them some life. Pretty solid overall. So, too juicy of a Slickshot to not go for here. But let's look for some lands. I do think we have to take this Spirebluff Canal. Not great to have a tap land here, but not a ton I can do about it. Just going to commit more to the board. See if we can make them have a Wrath or go for a Wrath to get rid of their own creatures as well. Don't need another Stormchaser's talent, so just going to take that one. And I think max out on damage here. Just go for the Opt now. Elusive Otter. I think we'll take one more of those. And play this guy out and attack for 7. Honestly, more scared of dying than getting outgrinded here. So if they decide they need to go for a Wrath, that kind of puts me in a pretty good spot. They do just go removal spell. These Otters might be kind of hard to deal with, or the Monks, but it looks like they are just going to try and Wrath the board here. Yeah, there's Slagstorm, which very okay with this. Get rid of your own Monks as well, and that'll let me recommit to the board with go for Rawl. I could go for Stallion. I think it makes the most sense to go for Stallion just because I'll be able to do more stuff afterwards. So we'll start with Stallion, and I think just follow it up with a Flow State. See if they have a Helix to kill the Stallion. I'd be okay with that as well. Not really close to running out of gas right now. So we'll just keep digging. We'll take Slight plus Otter, play a tap land, and maybe start getting this talent leveled up. Maybe try to slam a Rawl. Opponent is tapping out for a Quarry Mountain Monastery. Fine. But we could also just draw another Stallion. Don't really want to run that out now. I think we'll go for the Rawl now. Do land it, so that's nice. Let's try and make sure we hit our land drop for the turn. Not the end of the world if we don't, but would be nice. Gonna take it over a Slickshot too, and just spam some of these creatures out rather than holding up a Disdainful Stroke. Get closer and closer to ultimating this Rawl, make them have to deal with it, as well as have to deal with these 2 things, and do find a flashback, so they could flashback Slagstorm, deal with these, but that does not deal with the Rawl that's on the board. So, again, you kind of want to diversify your threats in this matchup. We have haste threats with the horse, we have planeswalkers, we have a bunch of cheap little creatures that they can 2-for-1, but we have so much card advantage we don't really care. And it looks like they're just going to hold on to that flashback, which I'm also okay with. I think I'm actually just... Well, I could minus the Rawl and try and go for lethal here. Looks like they want to maybe save this flashback for a Jeskai Revelation, which we don't really care about. So let's just make sure we hold up the Disdainful Stroke now. And yeah, let's look for some lands. Not going to be able to ultimate this Rel with the spells I currently have in hand. We can get rid of a talent, as well as probably one of these stallions, or it could just be the land. Maybe we don't need a tap land here. Yeah, I think I'm okay to get rid of a tap land. Then slam the horse. Go to get in for 5. See if they go flashback on Sear to try and get the horse. If they do that, we get to Spell Pierce it after they pay for the ward, and then still hold up this Disdainful Stroke. Or are they just targeting Rowell? They are. Either way, gonna Spell Pierce that one. Get a bunch of triggers. Hit them for 8. Even if they Wrath, we have a bunch of stuff to do next time. I'm going to hold the Otter as well, so we can maybe get a Groves bounty to copy the Stallion. They find Pyroclasm. That's fine. But even if they find a way to kill everything we have here, we still have this Rawl, and there's a Boomerang Basics off the top. Let's go Horse first. Boomerang my talent. And they scoop it up. Great stuff. Great way to showcase this deck. I do think this is the big draw to this over, like, Spelementals for me right now. I think Spelementals does pretty well into Landfall, but doesn't do as well into Control. So something like this does a little bit better into Control, which probably going to ramp up in popularity given how well it did at the Champions Cup, and pretty solid in London, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's just keep it moving. Get a couple more of these done. Alright, starting off with, on the draw with a hand with 5 burn spells and not much else. This hand is a lot better. Kind of cantrip to make sure we hit our 3rd land. Get rid of one of these Sleights of Hand. Make sure we have an instant for Flow State. Opponent goes Gene Pollinator. Just gonna kill that one as soon as I can. Alright, another upside of this deck is I do think you can do a little bit better into the Ouroboros decks. Just with how much removal you tend to have here. I'm going to go for Burst Lightning now on the Badgermole Cub. And no Slickshot against Sage of the Skies also helps a lot. They have a hard time answering the horse. So if you can play a more control-y game and try and run away with it with the horse, that can put you in a pretty good spot. Is what I'm going to try and do here. See if it works out. But if we find another Burst Lightning or even something to buy it back, or an Elusive Otter, that'll be really nice. Stormchaser's talent, Boomerang Basics, can never complain about that. Go ahead and start off with that. Possible my opponent has an Erode or something like that. I'm just going to go for the attack with the Stallion now. They block. That's fine. And get some more creatures into play. I think I am going to end up holding this Opt for now, even through the end step. It would be nice to find a 5-drop to copy Horse, but I'd also like to have as many Prowess triggers as possible on the next turn to just push through whatever large threats they try to deploy. Paw Patch Recruit. Best thing you can do against Paw Patch Recruit is try and ignore it. They play a Seam Rip. Go for my talent rather than anything else. That's fine. And then a tap land. So they're down to 1 land. They do have the Air Temple, but find the perfect card off the top. I'm going to tap this. I don't think there's a world where I'm going to go for the backside of Otter, and they just scoop it up. So yeah, Horse can run away with a game very nicely against them. With 4 Sage of the Skies, I don't even think I want Slickshot. I do like Get Outs. I do like to try and play the control game with a little extra removal, and I think Rawl can be a very nice way of doing that. Although, I haven't really played against this matchup a ton, so I'm not sure where I want to be exactly. Possible Rawl isn't it. think I'm just going to go down the crabs and guess that they will try and board in some kind of graveyard hate, as most of the lists play crab. It can be a nice little sideboard sidestep. Like, if you have all these different threats, they kind of have to guess which ones you're going to try and bring in. And we want all the answers to Ouroboros, which is the big thing that they do. But we probably want to go down... I guess we could go down one Elusive Otter. I don't like to go below 12 threats. 12 threats is kind of the minimum, but we can cut one of the Otters for now. Don't want to cut any removal. Possible we cut a stock up, just not really a matchup where we can tap out for it. So let's do that, and then I like Vibrant Outburst a lot here. I like all the 1-mana removal a fair bit. So it's kind of hard to find the last couple cards, although this isn't something I mapped for, so you probably could find a way to have less to bring in or more to bring out in this matchup. But I guess it's possible the Broadside Barrage is just too slow. We have a lot of ways to kill or counter Ouroboros. As well as one way to... And bouncing it as well isn't the worst option. And then maybe we want to go down... Could be just one of these removal spells, although seems hard to do. It could also be another Elusive Otter, although I said I don't like to go too low on threats. Or it could just be a Vibrant Outburst since we have a little bit more 2-mana. Or it could even be a Flow State, which can just be a little slow. I think we'll try that. Focus on all the removal. And pretty nice hand to start. Notably going to be unable to cast this horse unless we find a red source. But probably not what I'm looking to do in the first couple turns. Just start by killing the elf, bolting the bird, tale as old as time. See what they follow up with. If it's a Cub, no, it's just Curator. So we can go, again, boarded out the crabs, but still pretty happy to bolt that for 1 damage, or for 1 mana, play out the Otter, and then next turn to start digging. If we find a red source off the top, that would be perfect to try and get this horse down. Happy to trade 1 for 1 here with the amount of card draw and removal, and very happy to see a rest in peace after I board out all my crabs. And yeah, perfect. You rip, I will horse. And we'll see who wins this fight. See if they Ouroboros. No, it's a Bright Glass Gearhulk, sure. But I think we might just be able to kill this turn. If not this turn, next turn. Let's see what they tutor for. At the very worst, we can bounce that and hold up Vibrant Outburst. Which will probably mean that our horse doesn't die. But we need to cast 4 spells to kill here, or find Burst Lightning would also be lethal, because this Vibrant Outburst can do 3 to the face. So I'm going to start with an Opt. See if we find anything. Find another horse. Well, do I like that? They got a Seam Rip, which is interesting, because it doesn't really do anything. So I could go, like, bounce the Gearhulk this turn, and then hold up Vibrant Outburst, or I could just Vibrant Outburst, tap it, hold the Boomerang Basics for next turn. I think I want to get rid of that and look for more spells. Another Opt is nice, actually. So let's shock and Opt again. Not want to tap that. Sleight of Hand I'll take as well. And we'll just put them to 3 and then hold up a Vibrant Outburst for next turn. Nice. Bounce that. Even if they find a way to kill the horse, we're taking 7 down to 3. We have a bolt in hand. So happy to pass the turn back here. When it goes Paw Patch, it's fine. And Gene Pollinator, also fine. I will say Bolt Your Face. And get another match win with this deck, showcasing again the power of the horse. Doesn't die to Seam Rip. And some of these white decks like to try and get you with Seam Rip, maybe bouncing Seam Rip on your Otter tokens so they get extra value. But again, the horse is a lot more resilient than the other threats you can play, which is one of the reasons I like it so much. Go for another solid hand to start. No threats, but we got cantrips, we got removal. The card flow is here, and we're up against some sort of Izzet deck. Looks like it's going to be Lessons in some form, which very happy to showcase with my list. Gonna take the land that doesn't hurt me. Hopefully can get some horses down and win that way. Got this Vibrant Outburst to take care of the Granny. This depends on what they do here, on the timing of it. So probably should have played Steam Vents. Boomerang Basics to cycle, and then replay Grand means we're just going to kill it main phase if they're tapped out. Crab is looking pretty nice here with the fact that we just have kind of all spells in hand. Once we transfer those to the graveyard, the Crab will be looking pretty good. They play Monument, so that does give me a nice spot to just slam a stock up, I think. We'll take Stallion plus Basics for, again, a little more threat diversity, but here is the issue of, do we want to just spam Stallions, or do we want to hold up other stuff? I guess we could also just go for Boomerang on the Monument, and then play the horse afterwards. Kind of like that. Just make it hard for them to get their engine started. Plus, they're like, they want to cycle something now. Okay, this is the CFT build with the consults over some other stuff. They're discarding a combustion technique, too. So that could mean that they have more combustion techniques, which is a little bit scary. Maybe makes me want to not play the horse this turn and just go either opt or Crab or Stormchaser's talent. But if they do decide to kill the horse this turn, that means they're not going to be deploying their Monument, most likely. So I think I'm okay with that sequence overall. Which is another reason that I really like the horse in this matchup, is even if they do have answers for it, doesn't necessarily mean they're efficient answers. Right, they start with Abandon, which means they're trying to dig for answers. Also, something I'm happy to see here, they discard Consult. So there was a lot of dig in their hand. Although now, not sure what exactly is going to be in their hand. They go for Grand. If they have land with Grand, then that is pretty good for them. So they can Technique or do something else to get rid of this, while also getting a mana advantage for next turn. Although they're getting a little bit low on cards. We need to find really some way to kill this Grand. I think I'm going to keep a Flow State on top and go for that first. Keep trying to dig for a way to kill the grandmother. And yeah, just gonna kill it. Hopefully slow them down a little bit, but it's slipping away since they're gonna be able to get this Monument down, although we could go for a talent level up play and try and get a lot done here. Buy back a bounce spell. Or we could go for an Eddymurk Crab this turn and just try and apply as much pressure as possible. I do think getting them low is pretty important here, and that maybe lets us get some stuff back into our hand with the Stormchaser's talent to just kill them later on. Doesn't seem like they have a lot going on either right now, so I don't want to just dawdle around and let them get more loot triggers by bouncing their stuff. We want to put any counters on before we play this Otter. I don't think so. I don't think this shock matters, but let's just go for Otter. And then pass. They do nothing, which is very good to see for me. Maybe discarding all of those salts wasn't the best move for them if they don't have a ton to follow it up with. They just level up talent. Another monument. We don't have any answers to this main deck, so we'll just let it resolve. They discard Quench. Funny, guess it makes sense they had that in hand. Kind of surprised they didn't just cycle it. They make a treasure. Play a third monument. Fine as well. Discard a land, so they have one card in hand. 2 triggers, so they can make a treasure plus draw a card. So they'll have 2 cards in hand and 1 mana. And if they can get that cycle going, they're going to get to make another treasure this turn and draw another card. And maybe just kill me. But that one's not the scariest. Discard a land. This time it'll be a deal 3, make a treasure, draw a card. But yeah, if they can find a removal spell to get this cycle going and untap on my turn, they'll be able to make 3 more treasures. And that represents 3 more spells and probably lethal damage. But right now they're just passing. Oh, I'll go for the crab. Not tap anything down. And go to my turn. Start with Opt, see if it looks like they have anything. Looks like they do. Maybe not. We'll keep a flow state on top too. Gonna tap here, and I think we'll tap a red. The flow state. Now they accumulate. That is terrifying. So they get to loot. They're gonna draw 3. If they untap, we just die. So we have to kill this turn. So we gotta find some really good stuff off of this flow state. If or when it resolves. They have 3 more mana to work with this turn, which again represents up to 3 spells. They got to draw 3 cards, so they're going from 2 cards up to 7. And they have 3 mana, so not looking great. If they can kill just this crab, that's probably enough, although it looks like they're just going to go shock. Yeah, and discard 1 more card. Deal me 9, and I don't think I have a way to win here, so I guess we'll wait for this stack to resolve. Might as well. But, yeah, feeling pretty dead. Boom. Take Flow State plus Impractical Joke. I guess we'll take Island in case they have, like, Burst Lightning as their last card. I mean, if they have nothing else, we find exactly double Burst Lightning. That is technically lethal. Only 1 Burst Lightning. So sad. Yeah, if we'd played Breeding Pool, that still wouldn't be enough, right? 5, 10, yeah. So, we'll just attack. Maybe they have 7 lands in hand. Go boom. And concede to a spell. Okay, so we do have a lot in the board. We got 2 Soul Guides, 2 Rawl, 2 Spell Pierce, an Annul, and yeah, that's all I've got to bring in here. Just a couple things. I'm gonna get rid of Impractical Jokes and Vibrant Outbursts. I like Burst Lightning a little more. It kills Grand, goes face. All that good stuff. And again, don't love Crab in this matchup. Can be slow to come down, and you really want to be applying pressure fast. Slickshot is honestly okay, but again, they have so many like shocks for it that I just don't really want to bring it in here. Trading an Otter for a shock feels a little bit better. Yeah, on the play for game number 2. Get into it. Alright, love this hand on the play. Let's keep it. We've got answers to Grand, got answers to Talent, got a couple threats. Just looking for the card flow, some cantrips, flow states, stock ups, that sort of thing. Land isn't great, not the worst. Does mean we'll be able to level this Talent at some point. It's like no shock from them. And still just gonna do nothing. We find Boomerang Basics. That's a great one. Let's play the land out first. In case they have Quench. We can pay for it. Be pretty happy about that. Change. They have Quench here. Do I want to even Spell Pierce it? So if I Spell Pierce this Quench, they can slam a Monument. I don't love that. I think I'm just going to let the Quench resolve. Don't need this second Otter. It's possible they have Sweepers that they board in anyway. Maybe this says I don't have a Spell Pierce, and they just go for a threat like Talent or Boomerang, or Talent or Monument, but like that's not the case. I'm gonna just go for the Stallion, hold up Spell Pierce continuously. And if we're able to get a Combustion Technique out here, and then Spell Pierce that, untap Rawl, that's gonna be pretty hard for them to come back from. Actually, we can just Burst Lightning face and copy the Stallion, so yeah, really like Stallion in this matchup. Yeah, pay for Ward first. Spell Pierce. Glad I didn't play the Spell Pierce into this, into that Iros earlier. The Spell Pierce the Quench, we get a Stormchaser's down, and then they just wipe away both of them with one card. Let's go for the Burst Lightning face play, put them down to 2, and make this really hard for them to make a comeback against. Even if they do end up having like a Slag Storm. But yeah, Force does work in the Lessons matchup. So let's run it back, same sideboard plan, and try and win this game 3 with what I think is a pretty good matchup. Right. On the draw, not an incredible hand, but I usually like to keep these risky hands that have Boomerang Talent in them. And Lessons is a bit of a slower deck. We do have the answer to Grand as well. Which, do we want to fire that off or just go for Talent? There's so many options here. It's like really bad if we don't hit a land, but killing Grand is also just so important. Could also just pass and hold up the Spell Pierce or like a Monument. I think it's best to just play the Burst Lightning, kill the Grand, get it out of the way, not worry about applying pressure too much, and hope to just draw a land without needing to Boomerang this Talent. See what they do. They want to slam Talent or no. They don't. Now we can go Stormchaser's Talent. Now, if they go for a Quench, I would have Spell Pierced it, but I think we are just going to wait the turn on this Boomerang. See what they do. We'll let them abandon, let them accumulate. More so want to stop the problem permanents from coming down. And get to a point where we can outgrind them or outpressure them with our really strong threats. They go Boomerang my Otter, that's fine. Again, I want to do this in case of Quench. Go Boomerang Talent, draw a card. Talent, again. And we'll just pass now. Keep holding up this Spell Pierce. Very lucky to have found those lands off the top. Combustion Technique resolves. They probably have another Accumulate, is why they're running out all these lessons so early. So if they do that without playing a land first, I will Spell Pierce. Otherwise, I will not Spell Pierce. We'll just go for another... I guess I should have held that land for a second. But yeah, we'll Boomerang Talent again. Play Talent. See what they do. Abandon, that's fine. So, up on cards. A lot of very nice threats in hand. And let's try and counter a... Oh. Hoping to counter a draw 3, but they didn't even play it, so that's fine too. There's Grand, but not a ton in hand to take advantage of it. Monument. Yeah. I don't really want to Spell Pierce that. Though Annul is a nice one. Although I think this turn... could Rawl, or we could... I think it's better to Stallion, because if their last card is Quench, then we can Spell Pierce that. It is not. So, let's just pass, I think. I mean, them starting with Ancestral is definitely the scariest thing. We do have Annul for Artist Talent. But Combustion is pretty good here. So we could Spell Pierce, that makes it hard for them to attack with Gran. Unless they... well, even if they have another removal spell, they can't really do that. So Spell Pierce makes it hard to attack with Gran. But we really need to find a way to kill this Gran. I think I just have to use my mana, though. I mean, if they have, like, Quench plus removal spell, then it's fine. If Spell Pierce... also fine. It seems like they have to have a removal spell here if they're going for that. Yeah. Technique there. They get to loot and then draw a card. Get rid of a land. And I might have to Rawl down tick. Or if I find a land, I can just pick up this Boomerang and kill Gran. I think that's a pretty reasonable play here. The amount of stuff I have in hand, just trying to stop this incredible mana plus card draw engine they have going, and then next turn try and resolve one of these Rawls. If they go like Artist Talent level up, I can bounce it. Plus Annul, like it's hard for them to cast another spell here. I can bounce Monument. I think I should try and find a land, though. They have another Spell Pierce. Jeez, that's really bad for me. That is the worst possible. Right here. I really needed that Rawl in play, because now I can't bounce plus counter. So yeah, just really bad spot all around. And they can start chaining cantrips, start getting value from this Monument. It's a little too late to go for this Boomerang Annul play. They're still at 20 life. there's Gran. And I think we have to try and get this roll down again. That Quench is gonna own us. Negate too, yeah. We'll scoop it up here. GG's. Losing a matchup I thought was good. But, you know, that happens. They had a really strong start. They had that Gran go unanswered for a turn, which is kind of illegal to let happen. And, yeah, showcasing the power of lessons. But overall, happy with how I played those games. You saw any mistakes, of course, let me know. I'm sure didn't play perfectly, even if I am happy about it. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this standard format, and let me know what your takes on Prowess are, if you have any changes to this list, if you've tried something similar, if you're still an Otter gamer, if you're still Horsemaxxing. All that is important to me. So let me know, and see you guys around soon for some more standard content with some different decks in preparation for RC in Washington. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you around. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment. All that really helps me. Want to keep growing the channel, especially now I've got a ton of time to sink into it. So the more you guys show me you like the videos, the more I will keep making them. So it's a symbiotic relationship here. Have a wonderful day, everybody.